Welcome to our Heritage Works. Today, we are making Tabasco sauce. It's gluten-free, diabetic friendly, low sodium, and low oxalates. Our Tabasco sauce journey begins in the garden. This is a Tabasco pepper plant. You'll notice that the fruit sticks straight up, and it will start out as a greenish color, then go to a lighter color, kind of yellowish, then it'll fade to orange, and then in the background you can see a ripe one which is red. Tabasco peppers can be picked at just about any time during this cycle, but I prefer to wait until they turn that bright red color, and then they're very easy to pick. You just bend the fruit over near the base where it attaches to the plant, and it'll snap right off when it's fully ripe. So it has a built-in way of telling you when it's ready. Tabasco peppers can be used fresh or dried. I tend to let mine dry a little bit before I use them, though I have been known to throw some into like a chili or something like that while they're still fresh. But there are many methods of drying them out. You can store them in the refrigerator and they'll naturally dry out. You can do a dehydrator, or you can do a freeze dryer. Now, I myself am starting here with some that I had in the refrigerator that are just naturally dried in the refrigerator. Just let them sit. The jar is Tabasco peppers that I freeze dried. Now, if you don't have a freeze dryer, it's fine. Just make sure you have some good, fresh Tabasco peppers that have been either dried or you're using them absolutely fresh. I've already measured these peppers and I have approximately 3 cups of dried peppers. So I am going to use 3 cups of vinegar. I'm going to use half and half. So 1.5 cups of just regular white distilled vinegar and 1.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. You could use all of one or the other, it doesn't matter. It just will change the flavor slightly. I myself prefer the taste of having that apple cider vinegar added to it. It just adds a nice touch to the final product. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw this into a saucepan and put it on the stove and heat it up. What we want to do is bring this up to a boil for several minutes so that it has a chance to start the process of breaking down the peppers. Now, since I'm using freeze-dried peppers, some of the liquid's going to be absorbed into the peppers. That is fine. If you wanted to, you could rehydrate them before putting them on the stove. This process could be done with just about any hot pepper, whether it's a habanero, a ghost pepper, or one of the Reaper ones. If you really want to do something really, really hot, you can. I find that I like the flavor of Tabasco, and so I'll do this. Now, another pepper that I grow is jalapenos. I also grow cayenne peppers, so I could definitely make a cayenne sauce this exact same way. So all we need to do is bring this up to a boil, and what we're trying to do is get it to soften up so that it will start that process of becoming a beautiful steeped flavor that we are looking for. You could also add in onions, garlic, any other similar flavors that you might like. You could do that. You could also add salt to this mixture. I personally do not need the salt, don't want the salt, so I'm making it without salt. But if you like it, go ahead and add it. Now that these have boiled for 5 minutes, we're going to take them off and let it cool for just a few minutes before we put this into a high-speed blender to help break it up even further. We're carefully going to use our high-speed blender. You want to make sure that when you put the top on that you don't seal it tight because the expanding heat could blow the lid off. You don't want to do that. I myself am using our Vitamix, and it has some natural vents in it. So just make sure that the lid is on, but not so tight that air can't escape. You could wait until the mixture is much cooler than I am in this case. That's fine. You can do it either way. But we want to go ahead and chop this up. We're looking for a well-chopped mixture. We don't necessarily want to go down to a puree. We don't want to go that far, but just really chopped up. The goal here is to break up the peppers as much as possible so that we can put this in the refrigerator and let it steep for a while. It needs to sit for several months or at least several weeks. It depends on how hot you want it. But just a little bit of chopping up is all you need. These pictures do not show it well, but there are some chunks of the pepper still in this mixture. The seeds are still visible, so we're not trying to disintegrate the seeds. We're just trying to break it up. Again, the pictures are not the best for showing how big the pieces are, but it's chopped pretty good, but not too fine. Now, if you happen to have some charred oak barrels, you could put this mixture in those charred oak barrels and let them sit for several years. I don't have several years. I don't have any oak barrels. So I am going to reuse a plastic container that I had juice in, and I'm just going to pour it in, and then I'm going to put a date on it, label it, and then I'm going to put it in the back of my refrigerator and semi-forget about it. Now, I am going to take it out periodically. I'm going to give it a nice good shake, probably about every other day to once a week. You want to just go in, give it a good shake, put it back in. It takes 10-15 seconds to do. What this does is it allows that steeping process to continue, and you're mixing up all those pieces that are settled to the bottom. You're mixing those back into the liquid so that they'll continue to steep. Be careful not to breathe any of this product while you're making this. It is really, really hard on the nasal passages. Now, this has sat in my refrigerator for a month. I'd recommend at least 3 weeks, and I've been known to let it go as long as 6 months before I do this next step. So I'm going to shake it up, and then I'm going to do a double sieve to drain out the to separate out the solids and drain out the liquids, so that we have, when we're done, all the seeds removed, all the skins and all that have broken apart. Those will get discarded, and we want just the concentrate that we've made. I'm going to use my spatula to press the pulp through the sieve, and that's just to speed up the process of the separation. I'm also going to add a little bit of vinegar to the jar that I had this in, and that's just to loosen up anything that's remaining, and I'll just pour it over the top and put it in, add it to the concentrate. This little amount is not going to change anything. Once I have all this concentrate strained, I'm going to measure it just to make sure I know about how much I have. I'm going to use then 1 cup of vinegar, or 1 cup of concentrate for every quart of vinegar that I'm going to add. This is a generic rough estimate. Now, what I found out was this particular batch was extra hot. Not sure why. So if I wanted to, I could dilute the solution with either water or more vinegar. I'm choosing not to. I'm going to leave it. extra hot and just be sparing when I go to use it. But we will put this back on the stove, and we're going to bring it back up to a boil, concentrate, 1 cup, and the vinegar is going to be 1 quart, and this will be a mixture again on the vinegar of 50-50 white vinegar and apple cider vinegar. Once I have this all mixed up and hot, I'm going to water bath can this. I will be doing it for the amount of time for peppers, and that is 35 minutes for our area. Don't forget to adjust if you're up in the mountains or anything like that. But we will process these into mason jars. That way I can put them on the shelf. What doesn't fit easily on the shelf, I will put in bottles that I've had around, and I will put that in the refrigerator and use it first. Though it will keep for a long time in the refrigerator. I just wanted to put some up on the shelf just for that extended amount of time that I'm likely to have this. I only make Tabasco sauce about every 2 years. Thank you for watching.